From the York Region District School Board side, we saw the project as having a big, the opportunity to really engage community and to create a model for community engagement in ways that we had not really in our history. It was at that time Armadale Public School in South Markham was the fastest growing and actually largest public school in our system, and also one of the most diverse. So when a community grows that quickly and a school grows that quickly, there are a lot of opportunities, a lot of assets that are sometimes missed. So we wanted to make sure we made the best of those, capitalized on those.
The implication seems to be, especially because you're from a minority group, you're just somehow not meeting the grade. It's a classic deficit model of minority cultures and languages. We're going to help you overcome the hurdle. We're going to help you over the language barrier. Listen, it's not a barrier for the kid that he speaks 3 languages. The barrier is being put up by the school because it can't accommodate 3 languages, or its practices aren't intelligent enough to respond to those practices. In a sense, we're trying to forge a different kind of interactional pattern, a different culture in the school. And I think to some extent we've done that, but there's always the risk of reverting back to a different way of framing the relationships in the school. One of the highlights of the project for me was being able to do a group presentation where we had teachers and parents from 3 of our participating schools doing a joint presentation. People were stunned in the audience, like, who are these people? They're parents from my local school, you know? They were just simply stunned that they would be taking part in an academic conference.
It has had a much richer source of information coming to it around what are the needs and what are the opportunities that the school can move on. So you've seen programs go into the school that to some extent have been as a result of community dialogue in those gathering sessions saying, this is what we need, or this is what we have that we need to build on, and the school's taken advantage of that. So there's no question at all that those conversations, when community has its voice, has had a positive impact on the way the school plans when it does. Site-based planning has changed. It's also had the impact of encouraging the school to create different partnerships, whether that's with community-based agencies or whether that's with system departments that maybe they hadn't had a relationship with before. At a board level, there's been an ongoing discussion around how to replicate the process or the model. And other schools have come and observed, and what they've tended to do, I would call them like a community town hall. Mm-hmm. And when they run the town halls, they understand that the emphasis is on community voice, so not sitting down. So I think more schools are running them.
Based on the data that the school shared with me, their EQAO scores showed a demonstrable increase. And of course, then the supplementary question is, well, how do you know that that's related to your programming? I would flip that on its head and say, well, how can you prove that it's not?